Good morning, everyone. It's Anifa Menon from hearthealthbrainhealth.com, encouraging healthy grieving and mindful actions. Today, I have been contemplating about thinking, and a lot of people do a lot of thinking. I think a lot of us do a lot of thinking. And then there's different types of thinking, right? There is thinking that is not useful, there is thinking that is useful. And so today I was thinking about what is it that I want to make sure people understand about thinking? So, not only the useful and not useful, but how we can control our thoughts too. So, a lot of people would say, or have said in my practice, I can't control myself from thinking. It's just how I think. That's how I think. But I've thought a lot about it. And so, the human mind, when it's linked with the ego, it feels very firm of I know how I think, and this is what I think about this or that, and we've got lots of opinions and judgments and lots of experience to draw from that shapes our thoughts. And this is really important for us to remember that it's not just the idea of thinking. The question I would like to ask you today, from my thinking and reflective time about this, is who is thinking your thoughts? Is it you, or are your thoughts thinking for you? So this is interesting. It's like, well, of course I'm thinking my thoughts. Are you? Because let's say I would like to bring it back to, I've shared some videos about sleeping and deep sleep or dream state, and of course, waking state, and the difference of these things. Now, you know that when you're dreaming and if you're running, who's running? Because you're lying in bed sleeping, right? So you would say, well, I'm running. And are you? There's a part of you that is part of that experience, and I'm going to say that's your consciousness experiencing that. But you would say that you are, right? So even if you think, I ask you, well, what did you do? You were running. And you say, yeah, I was running. Were you running, or were you thinking that you were running? Right? So of course you'd say, I guess I was thinking I was running because I wasn't running. I was lying in bed. So I came across this quotation, which I loved, which was by Benjamin Franklin. And he said, if everyone is thinking alike, then no one is thinking. And this is what I'd like to remind you about too, because as I'd like to encourage people to think, reflect, contemplate, increase their awareness about themselves, if you are thinking this because everyone else thinks this, oh yeah, you were dreaming and you were running in your dream, I get it, and no one is actually questioning, were you actually running? You wouldn't think this today, right? You wouldn't have thought of, yeah, I guess my mind was believing that I was running, but I wasn't actually running. Now, we can also think about our thoughts as, or our mind, as kind of a tool for us, right? So I think that I'm running in my dream it's a tool. Now, in that time, we don't have a lot of conscious control of I'm choosing to run. Now, some people are able to train their minds to do this. Most people are experiencing, right? So they feel that the thought is happening to them, the dream is happening to them. In the daytime, in our waking state, we think that our thoughts are happening in our minds. Now, we can shape our thoughts, right? So you know that I strongly encourage people to focus on the more positive direction. And I've mentioned before that the mind has a tendency to focus on the things that are not right. So we can focus on this is what I want to focus on. I thought people would have some thoughts about, well, I can't focus my thoughts. Yes, you can. Because imagine that you love eating chocolate. You love eating chocolate. And yet you're gaining some weight. And you decide, you know what, I think it's because I'm eating too much chocolate. You would think about chocolate and think, oh, I love the taste of chocolate, but I'm going to choose to avoid having it for this much time, right? So that's a thought that you have controlled now. You could do the same thing with any sorts of addictions, right? People know this about addiction. So whether we think about food, we think about smoking, we think about drinking, we think about drugs, we can know that this is not right and then choose to change our actions and our thinking. I am doing this because this is the goal now. I want to do this way. So we can control our thoughts of, I will not allow myself to think about this for too long. And most people who are overcoming addictions will think of what they can do instead of the addiction, right? So, okay, at the time that I would normally have a drink, I'm going to have some lemon and water. Not easy, but possible, right? So it's shaping how we're thinking. I'm thinking about doing this because this is my goal, to not be drinking so much. So that's one thing. The same thing would happen for, let's say, there's an addiction to relationships. So one relationship after another, a person is having, and they're not satisfied. So as soon as this relationship is off the ground and running relatively smoothly, the mind starts thinking, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this. I'm not happy with that. And I don't think that this person will make me happy. Now, sometimes with some reflective thought and contemplation, one can see that, yeah, the things that are not making a person happy about the relationship are really something that need to be either changed or left or accepted, right? So those three options. Now that's another aspect, but it's anything that we do that we have a tendency to, right? So again, I was talking about food addictions, there's people addictions, there's relationship addictions, there could be moving addictions. There could be someone who's like, I'm not really happy in this home now, I got to move here. And you will see people do this, but they will do it even in their own homes. All the things are placed nicely, and now I need to put this chair over here because it's not making me satisfied over there. And they'll do this with rearranging what's within their space. What's often reflected by this is that our thoughts are thinking us when we're in those places, that we cannot be satisfied with what is right here, right now. So today, I would love for you to take this information. Maybe you'll need to listen to it a couple of times to get it through, and recognize that many people are living their lives with their thoughts thinking for them. And we're not using our minds to consciously direct our thoughts. So if I'm thinking that this is wrong and this is wrong and this is wrong, and I think my last video talked about this, I can train my mind to say, this is right, and this is right, and this is right. But it takes a conscious intention and focus. It takes attention to focus in this way. So I would love for you to spend 5 minutes after this video and just think, how do I think? What is it that I think most? And then what's the angle I put on it? I think most about my work and I think about how much I don't like it. I think most about my relationship and I think how much I don't like it. I think most about my life and I think about how much I don't like it. I think most about my health and how much I don't like it, or what's not right. Are we looking at the things that are right, or are we looking at the things that are not right? That is one thing I would love for you to focus on. What do you think about most in the day? Who is controlling your thinking? Which direction do you focus? Okay, 5 minutes to do that. Maybe you'll take 10 or 15 minutes for this exercise today. And today I'd like to finish with this quote by Tracy. This quotation says, your life is a reflection of your thoughts. If you change your thinking, you change your life. And I truly believe this in every aspect that you decide to focus on, you can change your life by changing your thinking. This is, of course, what I help people do with brain retraining. And I hope that you can focus on it for today, for just a little while after this video. I hope you remember, transform your mind and transform your life. Have a great day, everyone.